Now I'm going to do that all again. Hi, it's Garry. Welcome to today's live stream. So, stupidly, I mute the mic whilst that music's playing, because then I can finish doing my last little bit, and I forgot to press the unmute button. So, hopefully, yes, I can hear myself now on my preview. So, welcome to you all. Pop the glasses on, let's head on over to the comments. So we've got David. Welcome to you, David. Hello from Austin, where it's a stunning 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius, and absolutely beautiful for the first day of March. So here, let me swap over to Safari. He says, get it up first. There we go. So here we've got 23 Celsius at the moment. That's 73-ish Fahrenheit. So not too bad. I quite like when the temperature's this. It's just nice. It's not hot. It's not cold. Well, it feels cold, but it's not. So that's just about perfect for me. Let's go back to there and close this out. No, minimize it, because otherwise I have problems if I go back to it. And then Tom, hello to David. We've got Blonde Skills 1. Hello from Arkansas, where I'm recovering from tripping over my own feet. Oh, that's awful when you do that. I'm terrible for that. Although lately it's not been too bad. We've got Marie, hi from Michigan. Andreas, g'day, Fountain Pens. Welcome to both Marie and Andreas. We've got Hey Tom from David. We've got How You Doing? Tony, welcome to you, Tony, from good old UK, where it's 0 Celsius. And a 10-degree sunny day yesterday. Wow, that's nice. That's unusual for this time of year from memory. I thought it's been that long since I've been to the UK. Hey, Blonde Skills. David, hi. David, hey, Blonde Skills. Hey, Tony. And hey to Marie. Ricardo coming in to us from London. Welcome to you, Ricardo. We've got David. Hey, Andreas. And hey, Ricardo. Steve. Hello from Utah. Welcome to you, Steve. And David, hi to Steve. Tom, doing great. Wonderful spring day in Atlanta. Andreas sound, yeah, that was Gary's stupidity again. Then we got a few people there, no audio, as I was mouthing my words, and it was a test. That's what we'll do. I was testing people to see if they were paying attention. There we go. That's a good excuse, isn't it? Tony, hi, Tom, David, Andreas, Marie, Ricardo, Blonde Skills 1, and everyone else. Bit of a mouthful there in one go. I should have taken some breathing spaces. Ricardo, it's just 1 Celsius here, but it was nice yesterday, as Tony said. David, thou art mutable and thou art hearable now. Blonde Skills 1, yeah, and then Tom, hello all. Let me refresh. So... after that little bit of a snafu, I'm going to jump straight into what we're going to talk about today. I might have to split this into 2. Depends how long I go, because you all know what I'm like once I get talking. I just go on and on and on. So what I thought would do today is, during the week, or was it the week before? I can't remember. I think it was Karina Loves to Plan. She did a video where it was 8 additional questions. So last year there was this 8 questions thing which went around, where lots of YouTubers were answering 8 fountain pen related questions. And Karina, she did one which was a 8 additional questions. So I thought, yeah, let's talk about that on here. So what I'm going to do is head on over to Safari. I put the questions into my presentation. Look at that. A black screen. I thought I'd fixed this before we came on. Safari. Oh, come on. Safari. It's not going to play. It's playing up again. Let me just plug the iPad in. I thought for a change I wouldn't bother plugging the iPad in. I thought we'll have no problems today. Let me just do There we go. It's Keynote. That's why I couldn't find anything in Safari. It was Keynote. Silly Garry needs to be fired. So what I'll do, I'm going to keep an eye on this. I only want to go for about 10 minutes. So what I might do is just the first 4. I'll say we'll see how much I gather. Question 1. Do you have different uses for different pens? Simple answer, no, not really. I have the idea of a pen of the day and a pen of the month. Yes, there is some pens that I do use slightly different. I'll show one later on. So like when I'm writing my titles, I like to use just one pen for titles. Then I use that till it runs out. I will actually show you it later on because I think that's a good one to demonstrate. And a lot of people actually ask about it. But other than that, no, not really. I'll just use whatever's to hand. Going out and about, things like my Kaweco Sport are handy. But that's just because they're convenient. So, no, don't really have different uses. Question number 2. How do you choose the inks and pens you'll use next? So, again, this one actually is quite easy. What I do, I'm just keeping an eye on the thing, is I will use my idea that I have of the monthly themes. So, like the monthly theme we've just started is DC Heroes. So for most of March, all the pens, what I'm trying to do is think of the DC Heroes and how they tie in. For April, my theme is going to be US pens. So these are pens where the company's based in the US. Again, it just gives me a way to try and explore what I was doing. Because before I did this, I was finding I was reaching for the same pens all the time. And, it was a little bit boring for me because I liked the pens and so I kept reaching for them. So this way it forces me to, try and be a little bit thinking about the pens I want to use. In terms of inks, normally I try to go matchy-matchy in a little way. So I try to put a blue ink into a blue pen, a red ink into a red pen. Don't always stick to that. One of the pens you'll see today, let me just double check it. I did change the ink. No, I didn't. I put another green ink. But yeah, sometimes I do go away from that matchy type thing, but I do try and stick with that. It just makes it easier. If I want a green ink, I just make sure I get a green pen. The only one where it's different, a couple of where it's different is blacks, greys, and the whites and transparent, because them you can use any. Question number 3, we're shooting. Which pen do you prefer for longer writing sessions? Not really one pen. I usually prefer a pen with a little bit of width to it, especially around the section, so my finger and thumb don't feel like they're cramping. And I like a pen with a bit of length, so I don't need to post it, because I find most pens, when I post them, they feel back heavy. And I also like a pen which has got a little bit of weight to it as well. Again, I like to feel it. I like the tactileness as I'm writing. So that's really the only thing which goes into it. So as long as the pen meets those, then that's generally the pen that I'll use. What is your all-time favourite pen? Wow, this is a hard one, isn't it? What I've tried to do, by the way, you may notice, I haven't tried to think much on these questions. What is your all-time favourite pen? I would say, because of the cost, the Visconti Homo Sapiens Dark Age. I love writing with it. You'll see it again. You'll see that in a little bit. Really love it. Absolutely gorgeous pen. Writes really nicely. Nice weight. It meets everything that I want, but it's expensive. The other one, which I would say is close to being an all-time favourite, is a tie really between the Marjon M800 and the Jinhao 100, because I love both of those. I've got multiple copies of both of those. Really enjoy using them both. So yeah, I would say because of the cost, the Homo Sapiens, but if I exclude the cost, it's got to be either that Moonman or Marjon M800 and the Jinhao 100. Next up, if you have to choose one nib size, which would it be? Dead simple, broad. I really enjoy my broad nibbed pens. But this is something it evolves over time. Sorry, just having a mouthful of tea. So like 4 years ago, I would have said fine because I really enjoyed using fine nibs. But now, yeah, broad. Whenever I'm looking at a new pen, if I can get it as a broad nib, that's what I tend to do. Occasionally, I will get a stub nib. I've actually bought a couple of medium nibbed pens lately as well. But yeah, broad. Next up, what is your favourite nib grind? I haven't really tried many nib grinds at the moment. I enjoy stubs. I quite like the couple of architecty type nibs that I've got. But I like a nib where you've got like natural line variation. So where, it's wider going down than across, or it's wider going across and narrower going down. Just because it adds that natural line variation and it just brings out the character in my writing. If you could use only one ink for the rest of your life, what would it be? It would have to be a turquoisey bluey ink. I'd like to say Sleigh Ride, but I think because of the sheen in it, that if it's like a business setting, it wouldn't look professional. It wouldn't look right. I'm not sure on that one. I think maybe something like Diamine Aqua Lagoon. That could be up there. It's a nice turquoisey aqua-y colour. It's nice and bright, but it's blue enough that it looks professional. And what is an absolute deal breaker for you for a pen, for an ink? To be honest, there isn't really anything that's an absolute deal breaker. I believe in experimenting, in playing around with stuff. So, I've got small pens, I've got light pens. I think the biggest one is the width of the section. I've got one pen, which is a Cult Pens Mini, which was made for them by Kaweco, where the section, it's only about like 6mm. It's very, very narrow and very, very hard for me to use, but still not a deal breaker. I'd still try it because, we should be experimenting. For an ink, a deal breaker for an ink is if it causes issue in my pen. So if we get problems with flow, and if that was the case, wouldn't want to use it. And then a bonus pen. What is one pen everyone should have? One pen everyone should have. Oh, dead simple. This I'm going to switch to the camera so you can actually see it. It's the TWSBI Eco. That's one pen I think everybody should have. Let me just minimise this. I thought I'd taken off that comment. Never mind. There we go. TWSBI Eco. This is one pen I think everyone should have. It's a brilliant pen. It's not overly expensive. As long as you don't mind the fact that you've got to buy liquid ink, bottled ink. Yeah, I think this is perfect. So that's the 8 questions. I managed to get through them all in roughly 10 minutes. Back to the comments. Garry, did you get my email? Yeah, I did. It's sat there. I was a little bit late getting up today. So it was a case of, sorry, I haven't actually looked at it, but I know it's there. Anita, howdy from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Welcome to you, Anita. Tom, I've got a Kaweco permanently inked in a permanent black for writing on envelopes. Yeah, to be honest, I don't send any letters. And if I do, you're going to hate me when I say this. Where is it? Oh, it's over there, too far to reach. I have a ballpoint pen. One of the dirt cheap big ballpoint pen for things like if I need to write an envelope. But other than that, yeah, I don't really send them. I'm not really a letter person. Andreas, I have one pen for gym bag, one for scratch log, and one for my journal and commonplace books. Yeah, I see that a lot of people do something similar to that. And I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm not even centering the camera. There we go. I'm twisting the camera slightly. You have to excuse me. So I haven't I haven't really done that. As I say, I go down this pen of the day type route. Andreas, the Traveller's brass pen has been in my gym bag every day for the last 3 years. Gets thrown about, never gets cleaned, and yet it works every time. I've only got the one brassy type pen. You haven't actually seen it on the channel yet because I only filmed it during the week. This is a Mahjong D-like pen. I think they said it's copper. It's got a fair bit of weight to it. So it's a pocket style pen. Let me see if I can get that. There we go. So that's quite nice. I filmed it during the week. I can't remember what day when it goes out. I think it's not until April maybe. Let me just pull up the database and see if I can find out. Is it coming up? Nope. Let me just try this one. No, I can't see when it comes up. I think it might be March or April time. Just having a quick look. No, it's not coming up anywhere. So anyway, that's coming up. Blonde Scales 1. For picking inks, I just randomly pick. For pens, it's what hasn't been used lately. Yeah, I might actually try that one time, doing a random pick of the old ink. That might be an interesting video. So maybe could be worth thinking as a monthly video, one of my monthly themes, where I pick the pens and then just randomly pull out an ink. That's actually not a bad idea. David to Anita. Hi, Anita. Then we got Anita. Hi, David. Tom to Blonde Scales 1. Same for inking pens. Blonde Scales 1. Currently, I like fine nibs. Yeah, I said about 4 years ago I did. And it's strange how your tastes evolve. I mean, I could end up going back to fines. Blonde Scales 1. A purple or a blue that would be safe for my vintage pen. Let me just have a mouthful of cordial. The tea I'm drinking is Earl Grey, and I think I won't buy any more Earl Grey when I finish this. I've still got a lot to get through though, because I find it dries out my throat, which makes it a bit difficult for talking. Not that I need any struggle with that. David, thank you very much, David. We got a super chat there. Thank you so much, very much appreciated. Celebrating getting a Grail pen, the Mont Blanc Blue Hour fountain pen. Traded 2 149s and some US dollars for it. I got the better end of this trade. It is a masterpiece. Sorry. Have you been able to pop a picture into the Discord channel, David? If you're able to do that, that'd be brilliant. I'll say I have seen that there's an email from you, which I'm guessing there's pictures of that. I overslept this morning, so I've been a bit of a dash around to get everything ready. Tom, deal breaker, a pen that dries out quickly because cap doesn't seal properly. Granted, sometimes I only find this out after I've bought, but if this happens, I put that brand on the naughty list. Yeah, that can be a bit annoying when you've got a pen that dries quickly, especially when it's a hot weather. Mr. Inky Fingers. Pardon me. Hello, Mr. Inky Fingers. Welcome to you. I find that the Twisby nib's not great and usually need adjusting. The only exception is the Twisby Mini. Maybe I've been unlucky with the other 5 I've been through, including Eco and Go pens. Yeah, I've heard a couple of people say that. So far, I've been mainly lucky. I have actually got another Twisby Eco, which I ordered during the week. I was doing an order from Apple Boom. What I went there to order was a Platinum 3776 Century, but with a music nib. So I'm waiting for that. And then at the time, mainly because I wanted to make sure I got up to the free shipping level, I chucked in a Twisby Eco with a medium nib. The other reason for doing that is later on this year, I'm planning a video where I look at the Twisby nibs, the fine, extra fine, medium, broad, and the 1.1 stub. So I've now got an example of all of those. The only one where they're slightly different, most of them are ecos apart from the broad, which is a Twisby Diamond 580. What I'm trying to work on at the moment is ink-wise. I say I'm not doing it till later in the year, so I've got plenty of time to think about this. I can't decide whether to use different inks in each pen or the same ink. Benefit of using the same ink is the comparison is a proper like for like. So the only thing different will be the nib, because you'll have the same paper and the same ink. But on the other hand, because of the amount of ink that a Twisby Eco holds and the Diamond 580, I worry that by having the same ink, I either have to throw it down the sink, which I wouldn't want to do because what a waste of ink. When you're talking extra fine, medium, broad, 5 pens, and if each one's say a milliliter of ink, that's 5 milliliters you're throwing down the sink. So by using different inks, at least I won't feel like I have to do that. So it's something I'm currently thinking about. Anita, wow, David, sounds like a great pen. Blonde Scales 1, I like my Twisby pens. Tony, to keep it short, I will only answer 2 questions. Ink for Life, Diamine Polar Glow. Pen everyone should have, Vintage Parker 51 and medium. Couple of interesting choices there. Yeah, that Polar Glow could be nice because, again, it's blue, but you have got that nice subtle red sheen. Might be worth thinking about. Tom to David, wow. And then David, we got a smiley face and a thumbs up. Hey, Musset, welcome to you. Mr. Inky Fingers, I got 6 Twisby, 3 broad, 2 stubs and 1 medium. And all were very smooth from the get-go. Which size did you get? Steve, what's the difference between a broad and a stub? That's an interesting question. I should be able to answer that with what I've got here. This has got a stub in it, which is, and which one's got a broad? Yeah. So this is a broad. It's from Narwhal, so it's a Narwhal nib. And if you look at the tip, I know it's a bit difficult to do. Let me go over to the iPhone camera. If you look at the tip, can I get this to focus? The tip is rounded, and it's got a little blob of material on it. Whereas this is a Leonardo pen. This is a 1.1 stub. So the tip here is a little bit wider and it's narrow and you don't see that blob of material. I'll be writing with both of these. The big difference with this is with the stub, you get a wider line going down than you do across. Whereas with the broad, it's fairly consistent. I will show that when we get to the writing though, because I've got both of them to show you today. Amos to Steve, a broad is round while the stub has a thin horizontal and a double broad downstrokes. Yep, essentially summarise what I said a lot quicker and easier than I did. Tom, stub has broad up and down lines and narrower left and right lines. Broad is the same in all directions. So yeah, very similar. I'll say I will demonstrate it when we come round to the writing. David, a question. What do people think about pens and temperature? I had to ship a pen for repair during the recent super cold snap and was worried that it might be damaged by the extreme whilst in transit. I think for an empty pen, I don't think you've got too much of a problem. The materials we use nowadays, or that are used nowadays, very, very heat resistant. So I would have thought if it's empty, it should be fine. I mean, yes, you get cold, but I think it'd have to go down to some stupid, ridiculous coldness. And even then, you know, the pen would be at least in an envelope, if not a box. And that will be then in with lots of other lots of other envelopes or boxes, so it'll be surrounded by them. So I think there's a fair bit of, insulation there. I might be wrong. I say this is just, I'm not material scientists or anything like that, but that's just what my thoughts would be. David, what have people's experiences been with extreme cold and heat with fountain pens in general and internal piston fillers specifically? I don't have to worry about extreme cold. Not anymore. With heat, yeah, I mean, we get days where it's over 40 degrees. And with the pens, it does seem to obviously make the nibs dry up a lot quicker. And so sometimes what I have to do is prime the feed when it's especially hot. The biggest issue I find though on hot days isn't actually with the pen or the ink. It's normally with the paper. Because of the heat and usually it's fairly low humidity, I find that unless I'm careful with how I'm keeping my paper, the paper actually dries out, and so it becomes very more absorbent for the ink. I see more feathering. I don't see, especially in a sheening ink, I don't see as much of the sheen because the ink is just drying so quickly and being sucked into the paper so quickly. So yeah, that's the experiences I've had. Tony, Garry, read the TWSBI comparison. Just short fill the pens. Yeah, I may end up doing that. I say I'm still trying to work out what I want to do at the moment. But thanks for that. That's a good idea. Let me make a note. Just noted that down. If I don't write it down, I forget it. Mr. Inky Fingers, I had them in mediums. This was years ago, so maybe I was unlucky. I should give them a shot again. I believe TWSBI nibs are made for them by Yoho, obviously to TWSBI's specifications. So I've been lucky. I haven't had any really major issues. Robin, all my TWSBIs are great. I've got all the sizes. Blonde Scales 1. You could use same brand of ink with the same characteristics with the TWSBIs instead of the same ink. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I can tell you exactly now, the brand will either be Diamine or Colourverse because obviously I'm trying to use up all the Inky Vent and the Colour Vent type inks. It might be a good one for Colourverse. I might try actually Colourverse, one of the Extreme Sheens. Where's my pen gone again? Colourverse Extreme Sheen TWSBI. That might be an interesting one, and some of the extreme sheens, I think it will really help to try and push them. A Musset, only issue with temperature change but because of air pressure changes with temperature. A Musset, I have mostly VAX 700R, which are a joy to clean since you can disassemble them. Yeah, I find the Eco and the Diamond 580 are also fairly easy to take the nibs out. So what I do when I'm cleaning them, I actually take the nib out, use my blunt nose syringe to inject water. Blonde Scales 1, like all standard, all shimmer, etc. Yeah, I think I might. I like the idea of an extreme sheening. David, I didn't think about pressure changes with temperature. Makes sense though. A Musset, my pleasure. Mr. Inky Fingers, we got a thumbs up there to A Musset. Robin, welcome to you, Robin. Has anybody tried the Lambie 2 brass pocket pens? I bought one and was so pleased I immediately ordered 3. I haven't, as I've showed earlier, I've got the D-like one to try. I think it's a copper one rather than brass. I do have coming up a Lambie 2 first impressions. I can't remember what the pen was at the moment. I think it was like a forest pen or something like that. That's coming up in the next month or so. Andreas, to David, I have the opposite concern. Living in the subtropics, I worry about what the heat and humidity will do to my Urushi and Ebonite pens. I'm actually thinking about getting a cigar humidor. Yeah, I'm not sure about how the heat would affect those because they're both, Ebonite is a kind of vulcanized rubber from memory. So that might not be too bad, but the Urushi with the way it's lacquered, yeah, could be an issue. Although saying that, I mean, they're made in Japan, which I'm guessing will be similar, possible to over in Brizzy. So it might not be too bad. But yeah, I don't know. Blonde Scales 1. I try to avoid mine spending extended periods of temperature extremes. Yeah. Dia, welcome to you, Dia. Hello from Ontario. David, to Andreas. Interesting idea about the humidor. That would help both ways. Robin, I live in southwest Florida. We have heat and humidity, but not extremes of temperature. The only pen I have a problem with is a vintage lever filler. Oh, sorry, I'm scratching. Dear, I have a Twisby 580 Diamond ALR and love it. I only find the grip slightly slippery when my hands are dried. Yeah, I haven't into my 580 for a while. I need to do that. I used to love the 580. I've really been getting into and using the VAX 700R lately. A Musset to Robin. I love vintage nib, but cannot stand bladder, so I skip vintage. Andreas, I'll be in Japan in a couple of weeks and will visit an Urushi artist. Was planning to ask about temperatures and humidity. Oh, that's awesome. If you can let us know what he tells you, that or the artist tells you, that'd be brilliant. David to Dear, cheers. Yeah, David, they're saying the same thing. Please let us know what you learn when you get back. Hey, Musset, given Japan climate, I would not worry about heat and humidity too much with Urushi. Dear, thanks, David, and congratulations on your new Grail pen. Blonde Scales 1, you are lost. Embrace the hoarding of pens, absolutely. I was started watching Inquiring Minds live stream before this. I have something playing while I'm doing on my setup, and he was saying about how he sells his pens. I don't know, just me, I don't know how we can do that. The thought of selling my babies. So I mean, as I said the other week, I've got 195. I've got another 2 which I've just ordered. Maybe doing a China order sometime in the next few weeks, and I've got another couple that I want to look at getting. Just Turnings has announced that he's now got a bent nib from Cyprus pens that he's going to start selling on his pens. So I think that's my excuse to buy another Just Turnings pen. So yeah, I've got quite a few pens that I'm thinking about getting. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I should think about it, but it's just the thought of saying goodbye to my babies. I don't know. David to Dia, thank you. Andreas to Marie, it's called hedonistic adaptation and the biggest enemy of my wallet. That's why I'm limiting myself to only 2 pens this year. 2 pens? I think I've already beaten that. I've done 2 pens this month. Tony to Marie, I think we all need an intervention. Fountain Pens Anonymous. Yeah, that would be very busy. Dear, you're most welcome to David. And then David, Tony, first we all have to admit we have a problem which lets all of us out. Yeah, I don't believe I've got problems. I only have opportunities. The opportunity to buy more pens. Robin, I agree about the bladders. So I only buy vintage that I can't resist, like the Waterman 52. Esterbrook makes a great conversion piece so that I can use new Esterbrook's with vintage nibs. That's a good idea. Tony to David, spot on. A Musset, I tried a vintage Waterman wet noodle and really loved it. But in the end, I got a Mag 600. Not as soft as a wet noodle, but a very good alternative for flex. Mag 600, are they made in India? I think they are. What I'm going to be trying to focus a little bit on this year is what I'm going to focus on later this year, my brain went then, is I want to try and build up my Indian pen selection. So I've already had a few people with suggestions. So there's Click as a brand. There was another one, I can't remember it. I've got it written down. I've already got a Ranga pen, or I've got a couple of Ranga pens. I've got some Can Write. got Fountain Pen Revolution. I know it's an American-based company, but they're made in India. So yeah, that's something I'm going to look at. And I think the Mad 600, I think that was an Indian company. So that's one I may save for to get in 2 or 3 months. Robin, I hear you, Gary. I've got over 1,200. Occasionally I gift one, but I'm not selling my pens. Yep, completely with you on that. Blonde Scales 1. I can't see Marie's posts now. Yeah, they were retracted. I have a 5-drawer, 128 pen insert for an IKEA Kalatz coming next week. All is lost. I don't know if you can see them. I'm going to move the camera here. So, I don't know. Is that the Kalatz? So, there's a 5-drawer tray there. I think that's what you're meaning. And on there, what I've got is I've got A4 document cases. I'll pull one out to show you. I've shown these a few times. So I've got A4 document cases. My wife's made a nice bedding for them. And then I fill these with pens. Let me just get the Jinhao one. That'd be a better one to show. Not that one because... there we go. This is a full one. You know, so I use a label to stick on what they are. And I've got 10 of these, and out of the 10 I've still got one empty. Most of them are only part full, but so yeah, they keep growing and growing. Robin, I'm grateful when multiple pens don't show up on the same day. I bet you are. I have to be careful when I'm ordering pens, because if too many show up on the same day, you can imagine what the wife will say. David, I must really have a problem, as I have gotten 2 pens this week. Yeah, I've only ordered mine. There's going to be a while before they arrive. Right, that's the tea finished. Hey, must it to David Lowell. Robin, I have a Mag 600. Mine starves for ink and hard starts. Yeah, that's my concern, is obviously because I like the broad nibs, although I think I would go for a flex nib if I get one, if I can. Hey, Musset, I love my Fountain Pen Revolution Jaipur V2 with Ultra Flex nib. Yes, Magna Carta M600. I made in India too. Brilliant, thanks for that. Marie, I did a typo, so I was embarrassed. Don't worry, you should see the typos I do. Hey, Musset, talking about typos, one of the things I have to really triple, double, quadruple check every time I do it is a pens in use video, because one typo will lead people expecting a completely different video. Must it try ink with higher surface tension like Herban 1670 and Herban 1798 inks. Shogun is wonderful in my Mag 600. Blonde Scales 1, we speak Taiwanese here. Yeah, definitely we do. Must it to Robin, more watery inks have hard start and railroading issues. Marie lol. Let me just refresh. David to Marie, if I was embarrassed every time I made a typo, I would never type anything. Don't worry about it. Robin, thanks for the suggestion. I certainly will. I'm convinced the worst pen just needs a different ink. Yeah, I do that. I try different inks. You eventually do find one that works. Dear, one thing I practice to treat my pen habit is to try and divert my attention to inks and papers. Yeah, I tried that. I now have over 200 inks, he says, looking ashamed. Got more inks than pens. Papers, I had loads, and what I've done is I've donated a load of them recently because there was just that many, and I've actually pulled out another 6 just this week to be donated. Blonde Scales 1, only pens I've gotten so far this year were from True Face subscription boxes and the January mystery dip. So far, yeah, I think I'm on 4 this year. Andreas, lol, Garry, try working in public health. Wow, yeah, that would be terrible, because yeah, on the there's a Fountain Pen Australia Discord channel or Discord server that I'm on, and one of the channels in there is for inks, and it was a couple of weeks ago, there was lots and lots of comments where they were saying VD this, VD that. Obviously, they meant Van Diemen, but the thing that came into my head every time I saw VD, maybe it's because of the time I was brought up, wasn't really what they were trying to say. And some of the ink names, when matched with VD, really were quite humorous. Right, let's head on over to the pen of the week. So here's my paper of testing, Midori MD cotton pad. Let's turn it around. So the pen of the week, my latest baby, the Pelikan M1000 in Renaissance Brown. Wow, this is such a wet writer. It is extremely wet. Let me just move the mouse so I can get my list in, because on that's where I keep my prices and stuff. So we've got the Pelikan Brown. Oh, it's gorgeous. Downside with this, it doesn't have an ink window. It is slightly translucent, so you've got to hold it up to the light and then get it at the right angle and from the right position. Then you can see what the ink level is. It's a pain in the butt. It works, but it's there. Beautiful nib. I went for the broad nib. That's it. My favourite nib size is broad. Wow. I mean, I would say this is like a triple or a quadruple broad. This is the second ink I've had in here because it ran out. With this, what I found is you can actually unscrew the nib unit. So what I did is I've actually unscrewed that and I filled it right to the top with ink. So the ink, or the pen, is the Pelikan M1000 broad 18 karat gold. It's a ridiculous amount of money, 1,350. The ink by Diamine, and it's Yuletide. This is a stunning pen, really is. Love writing with it. Downside, obviously, as I've said, it's extremely wet. So, what pens have I used this week? So the first pen of the week, this is the Narwhal Key West. So this is a pen with a broad nib for the question earlier on. So it's a stunning pen. It's a shimmery pen. Cartridge converter there. The ink in here, although it looks like it's full, it isn't. It's about only a quarter left, so I'll be refilling this during the week. I'm toying with the idea of changing the ink. So I've got Diamine Solar Storm in at the moment, and I'm thinking about putting Colorverse Milky Way. But I'll see when it comes to it. So this is a Narwhal. And it's the Key West. With a broad nib. Big difference in price. 75 Aussie dollars. A lot more reasonable. The ink by Diamine. Solar Storm. And this is a chameleon ink. So there's the lines going down, there's the lines going across. Very similar width no matter which way you're going. The next pen, this is a stub pen. So it's actually good timing, that question. So this is the Leonardo Ferrare in white salt. Another one, sort of like a cartridge converter. So you've got a really long converter in there. I did fill this again during the week. You can also get into the converter by just taking off the top there. So you can actually fill it without taking off the body. But to me, if I'm going to unscrew that, I might as well unscrew the body. I love the section on this. This is the older style Leonardo section where it steps down. Really comfortable. And on here, as I said, we've got the stub nib. Now, the ink at the start of the week was Diamine Glacier, which is a Starbright ink. And what I found with it is I was having lots of flow issues. Oh, just knocked my glasses again. I'm terrible for doing that. Partly, I think it's due to the heat. So, because of the issues I got, what I did is I did a real deep clean of the nib and feed in my ultrasonic cleaner. It was all right for a couple of pages, but then back to having the flow issues. So I changed the ink, gave the pen a really good clean, and I put a different ink into it. So this is the Leonardo Ferrari with a 1.1 stub nib. Price wise, you're looking approximately 245 Aussie dollars. The ink by Diamine, and it's now Bliss. This is a standard ink. So like I did up there, I'm going to go here. So there's going down and here's going across. So that's the difference that you get between a broad nib and a stub nib. Up next, one of my babies, Visconti Homo Sapiens Dark Age. Oh, stunning pen. 18 karat gold nib. Beautiful nib. Heavy pen, you really know it's in your hand. Comfortable pen to use though. So we got here a Visconti. I barely need to touch the paper for it to write. And it's Homo Sapiens. With a broad 18 karat gold. Price wise, 1,318 Aussie dollars. So I don't know if you can see here the difference between the Pelican and the Homo Sapiens. Difference in line, even though they both say they're broad nibs. The ink by Diamine, and it's Fireside Snug. Just going to do this here. Why don't we do an experiment? So here's with the Visconti. Just pop that back in. Let's fetch that M1000 back out again. Remember, they're both broad nibs. Look at the difference there. Up next, we're actually going to India for an Indian pen, Fountain Pen Revolution. This is the Darjeeling. Very light. So someone commented in the week and said that this is a rebadged click pen. So that's something I do need to check out. It's a converter with them silly push-pull converters. Okay. And I did refill this again in the week with the same ink. So we've got a Fountain Pen Revolution Darjeeling. This is a medium nib, it's a steel nib. Price wise, massive difference from the last one, 31 Aussie dollars. So I'm just having a drink of juice. That's better. And the ink is by Diamine. And it's Red Robin. Again, you can see there the difference between the broad and that medium. Up next, we're going to China for the Hondian Black Forest series, The Light of Hope. One of the first pens I bought this, and I still do love using it, more so because of the name. I do find this is a pen starting to get a bit on the thin side. Cartridge converter. I say a bit thin, but not uncomfortably so. So we've got the Hondian, The Light of Hope. With a fine nib. Price wise, you're looking roughly 32 Aussie dollars. Now to me, this fine nib looks a bit wider than that medium, but that's just me. The ink is by Diamine, and it's Early Dusk. Gorgeous pen, and I really like the match we've got there with that ink. My final pen of the week is, I've already shown it a couple of times, it's the TWSBI Eco. So start of the month, or should I say start of the week, I had Diamine Merry and Bright in here, which is a shimmering ink. And I was having the same flow issues I was having with the Ferrari, so I did the same thing. I pulled out the nib and feed, and I ran it through my ultrasonic cleaner, so it got a really good deep clean. and put it back in. And again, a couple of pages fine, but after that it went back to that horrible, I'd write sometimes not even half a word and it would stop writing. So what I've done is, again, deep cleaned it and I've changed the ink. I've put a standard ink in, and since then haven't noticed any issues, but I've got to play around a bit more. So we've got a TWSBI Eco. And this also has got a 1.1 stub nib. Price wise, you're looking approximately 59 Aussie dollars. And the ink is by Colourverse NGC 2264. I have to keep an eye on this one to remember the number. Very nice. I like the ink. It's working so well at the moment. Final pen I'm going to show you. This is because a couple of people have asked about this recently. They've asked what pen I use for writing my titles. So here's the pen. This is a Mr. Pen, the Parsons Essential. He was a UK manufacturer. He's done out of business now. He retired. Got a converter in there. The nib on it, again, actually, I believe made by Mr. Pen. This is an italics nib, and it's a medium cursive italic. So let me see how close I can get. I'm not sure if you can see on the camera there, but the nib, most nibs would go like this, whereas this one is like that. So what I have to remember to do when I'm using this is to give it a slight turn so I get the nib correct. So we've got a Mr. Pen, the Parsons Essential. I'm not sure how much it would cost. It was a gift. And the ink, I say, it's a medium cursive italic. The ink by Diamine. And it's Velvet Emerald. So with this one, unlike here with the 1.1, let me go up here. Here's my 1.1 comparison. This one, if I go down, the line's thin. If I go across, the line's wide. So that's the difference there between the two. Also, I have to, as I say, remember to turn it ever so slightly. Otherwise, it just won't write. If I try and write like normal, it's very scratchy, catches the paper. Get the turn right, it's brilliant. Okay, let's go back to the camera. I'll have to do myself an outro for that so that I can bounce over here without you actually seeing me bouncing over here. So let's head on back. It's going to be a long one today by the look of it. Robin, yes, Gary again. I got ink overload because I thought it would distract me. Doesn't work, absolutely. Amos, it's superb M1000 resistance. It is. It's my baby. Congratulations. Thank you. Miss Marilyn, darling. Hi, Gary. Hi, everybody. Welcome to you. Blonde Scales 1. I need to get more notebooks for the horde. Do you know what? I'm just going to make a note. Next week for a topic, if I remember to put it on there. I'll pull out all my notebooks and we'll have a quick look through them. That'd be quite interesting to see. Dear Gary, congratulations on this marvellous Pelican. Yeah, oh, it's beautiful. It's very, very wet. Andreas, I love the look of the M1000. I just smile every time I see it. Yeah, I've been using it as the pen of the week, so it's been getting used every day. Oh, it's so nice. Robin, oh yeah, you got the Pelican Renaissance Brown. Congratulations. I just cleaned mine out. Yeah, I think it's going to be like the Visconti Homo sapiens. I think it's going to be a pen that is always inked up. What I'm going to try it with next, once this Yuletide's finished, because that was actually the last of the Yuletide, so let's finish that ink, is I'm going to try it with a paler ink that I normally wouldn't use. With it being so wide, I want to see how it works with those. So maybe something like Colourverse Sailing Stones or one of the Diamine ones in that similar pale colour family. That'll be interesting. Tony, superb looking pen. Diamine Espresso would be a perfect match from the 160th anniversary collection. Yeah, I've got to get through all these damned ink variants. I've got so many. Hey, Musset, whoa, that is very broad, absolutely. Robin, hi, Miss Marilyn. I was missing you. We've got Tony and Tom and Tony there saying hi. Blonde Scales 1, I still want to steal that sparkly purple pen. I don't think it's sold anymore. I do look, especially when it's a pen I haven't used for a while, I do look to see if I can get current pricings for them. But I couldn't find that for sale anywhere. I couldn't find the Key West model anywhere. I'm on to Ribena now. Ricardo, Andreas saying hi to Marilyn. Marilyn, hello everyone. Holy moly, be still my heart. Yeah, I know what you mean with them pens. Robin, I just ordered another 10 Elliot Note A5s with 448 pages of Tomoe River. The price for me is good, and they seem to have deals for bundles and include free Tomoe River notepads. That's good. I always like something that's free. Blonde Scales 1, cool. Robin, didn't know if you have a preferred provider and thought you might be interested. Marie. Oh, God, my voice is going. I've still got a lot of videos to do after this. Sorry. This will please my wife if I lose my voice. She always likes days like that because she says it's peaceful. Marie, do you like the Fireside Snug ink? I do. In that Visconti, I love it. I don't like it enough that I'd buy a full bottle, but at the moment, that is the only ink that I'm putting into this Visconti. And I've actually got the bottle here. I'll leave it out. I've got I think it's about that much. So how much would you say that? About 6 or 7 millimeters of ink in the bottom of there. So I reckon that might be another 3 fills, maybe 4. But until that's used, that's the only thing I'm using in this pen. I love it. I love the colour. Why I like it, I know I've told the story a few times. The pen's got is lava, or from Mount Etna mixed with resin. So you've got the that magma there in the pen, and the orange of that Fireside Snug reminds me of the molten lava colour. Where you've got that beautiful orangey and yellows. So it looks like you've got a combination of both liquid and solid magma. That's why I like it. Blonde Scales 1. I do have some brands I like, but always looking for new ones to try. Yeah, so am I. Always trying to experiment. I said the pen I ordered this week is a new experiment. It's a Platinum 3776. So I've only got one of those with a medium nib, but the one I've ordered has got a music nib. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Robin, I found Elliot Note when Gale and Leather was sold out of my favourite notebooks. I've been pleased. Again, let me make a note of that. See if they do anything with Australia. Elliot Note. Steve, which ultrasonic cleaner do you have? Are they expensive? Do they use water or some other liquid? So the one I've got was from Aldi. I think they're about 30 or 40 Aussie dollars and not overly expensive. So what you do, or what I do, is you put cold water in it. You don't put hot water in. Put cold water in, and then you put in whatever you want to clean and just set it going. I would think if you wanted to, and it was something really stubborn, you could maybe put a bit of dish soap in. But just make sure then that you do really, really clean it out afterwards, and also clean off whatever it was you were ultrasonic in. But I find just plain water works really well. Robin, I have about a dozen Mr. Pen Italics pens. I stocked up when he said he was retiring. Those pens are spectacular. Saw them first on SBR Brown. Yeah, really, I really enjoy them. David to Miss Marilyn Darling, hi there. Hey, Musset, since you like broad nibs, have you you have to try the Pilot Signature. I got a custom 823 with a signature nib, and I love it. My smoothest nib. Yeah, that's one of the ones on my wish list is the 823 with that sig nib. I think it was the clear version. Haven't looked too much into it because obviously I've got other pens that I want to look at first. So I've ordered that platinum. As I said earlier, I want to get a Magna Carta pen as well. So I've got so many, expensive pens that I want to get. And then I'm also starting to save for next year's, big boy pen. Like this year, I got that Pelican. Last year, I got the Homo sapiens. And I'm not 100% certain, but I think for next year, for my, my big boy purchase, I might go for a Mont Blanc. But I may also look at a Sailor King of pen. I'm not sure yet which way I want to go, but no matter what, they're both a lot of money, so I need to start saving for those now. Let's refresh the comments. Tony, last week you were looking for lubricated inks. Monteverde and Noodles make them. Goulet Pens have a list on their site. Awesome. I think Goulet Pens does do some really nice what's the word I'm looking for? Nice functions for finding things. Let's head back over for the presentation. So Monday, that was my intermediate pen selection. So that was 5 pens that I thought were good as pens for someone who's been collecting pens or buying fountain pens for a while. They're getting comfortable with them. So these are some of the next level ones. And by next level, I don't mean expensive, because I think there was one on there which was about 100 Aussie dollars. So wasn't talking expensive. I was just talking, I think these ones are good as an intermediate pen. Wednesday, I had my wrap up from February where I had my stores. We introduced the ink scoring as well. That was actually quite interesting to do, looking at the inks. Friday, pens in use, DC Heroes. So you've seen, in fact, I think you've seen all of the pens today that were in there. Have you? No, yes, you have. Yep, you have seen them all today. This was a hard one, as I've already said. Don't forget to head over to eves.id.au and vote for the pen that you want to win this month. The poll is there open. I've tested it this time, so it does actually work. And then Saturday, I released the members Ask Me Anything for March. Coming up tomorrow, we've got my Grail pens. It's actually 6 pens. It should be 5, and the main selection is 5. But because I'd got the Pelican when I was recording that, I'm afraid the Pelican got in there as well. And again, with this, I'm not talking expensive pens. I think the cheapest was in about $200, something like that, although you could say that's expensive. Wednesday, I've got my first impressions of the Canwright Desire. That's got a flex nib. Going to be interesting to play around with that a bit more. And then Friday, I've got my ink review for March. Book of the week, I finished I Shall Wear Midnight, which was a Tiffany Aching book. I love the Nakmak Fiegel. I think they're absolutely awesome. And then I started Snuff. I'm 75% of the way through Snuff. Again, we've got some Nakmak Fiegels in there. But this is a Commander Vimes book. I'm actually really enjoying this. It's what I've been finding is certainly with the City Watch, the Commander Vimes type books, they're more of an adventure. Whereas like with the I Shall Wear Midnight, that to me was just more of a straight story. Whereas I say with the City Watch, there seems to be a lot more to it. But I like them both. So I'm getting very close. Sorry, I'm getting very close to the end of my Terry Pratchett reread. What I'm going to do when I finish that, I've been thinking about it. It won't be for another few months. Is I've still got a load of Agatha Christie books to read. So once I've finished Terry Pratchett, I'm then going to swap for a while to Agatha Christie. I started reading her books a few years ago. It's just something, it's outside my normal genre that I read, and really enjoyed them. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be switching to. Head back to the site of Ugly Garry. Let me close this down. Let's head back over to the comments. So, Robin, I just received my Leonardo Memento Zero, word I won't even attempt to pronounce, from Stilo and Stile. Awesome. I've got a Memento Zero and a Memento Zero Grande. Love them both. I don't know. I feel like I've got enough from Leonardo at the moment. I may get some more in the future, though. David, for what it's worth, I've heard from several folks who really know what they are talking about to avoid noodlers, as some of those inks permanently stain pens. Not sure about how accurate it is. The only one I've heard that with is Bay State Blue. Sorry. But I believe they can be cleaned out. And I think it was Miss Marilyn Darling was saying it was at least one of the Colourverse inks, or Colourvent inks, actually cleaned out some stubborn stains from one of the pens that it'd been put into. Tony, another great session, Garry. Thanks. Good night, everyone. Have a great week. Thanks for that, Tony. Musset. To David, mostly the Bay State Blue. I've got 10 to 15 noodlers inks, and none have stained my pens, demonstrator or converter. Robin, even Bay State Blue, which has a reputation, can be cleaned with bleach and water. I'd just be careful using bleach in a pen, because depending on the material, bleach could affect it. Ricardo, good night, Tony. And I'm also bidding farewell for tonight. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks, Ricardo. Hope you managed to get some sleep. In London, where it's early hours of the morning, nearly 2 o'clock in the morning in the UK. Musset, to Robin, grats on the Memento Zero. I've got 3 Leonardos and love them, and I'm tempted to get a 4th one. David, to Musset, thanks, that's helpful. Let's refresh. David, have a wonderful and God-blessed week this week, everyone. Yep. So, thank you all for your time. I'll come back and look at the comments in a minute. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. Membership's available. With membership, it helps towards buying pens for the channel, buying inks for the channel, buying stuff for the channel. I've already said the sort of pens I'm looking for this year. I've got a number of Chinese pens that I want to have a look at as well. Paper-wise, I like to explore different papers. So everything that is from membership, from super thanks, from the ads that YouTube put on there, all that goes together into a bucket, and then I chuck in most of my own spare money into there, and that's what's used to buy and fund the stuff for the channel. So if you're able to support the channel in any way, that was really appreciated. Let's head back to the comments one more time. I have to put my glasses on. It's weird having to put my glasses on and off now. Marie, my Desert Island ink is actually Noodler's Army Green and never had a staining problem. I like the look of that. I've seen that a few times. Lawn Scales 1, have a great week all. Marilyn, thank you, Garry. Have a great night. Thank you all for joining us. Got a thumbs up there from Marilyn. Dia, thanks. And you too, David. Marilyn, have a great week, everyone. Good night all. Thanks, Garry. Let's refresh once more. Andreas, thanks, Garry. Take care and stay safe. Kaz, good night all. Take care. Musset, thank you for the stream and a good night, everyone. Do another refresh. Dia, thanks for yet another great session, Garry. Have a wonderful week, everyone. So that's it. I'll leave the comments open while the outro's playing. Thank you all. I absolutely love doing these, and I'll talk to you again soon.